The first person I ever called when something went wrong was my father. The last person he ever expected to rely on was me. That wasn't luck. That was 55 years of quiet, consistent love, built one ordinary day at a time. My father, Daniel Hayes, wasn't a man of big speeches or dramatic gestures. He didn't need to be. He was the kind of man who fixed things before you even realized they were broken. The kind who showed up early and stayed late, not because anyone asked him to, but because that's just who he was. When my mother passed away 14 years ago, a cold Tuesday morning that turned every winter after a little heavier, he didn't fall apart, not outwardly. He folded the grief into himself like he did everything else. Neatly, quietly, without making it anyone else's burden. He sold his fishing boat to cover expenses without telling me, kept the house running, kept me running, and never, not once, called to say he was struggling. So when my phone rang at 7:42 a.m. on a Wednesday and I saw his name, I didn't hesitate, because a man like him doesn't call unless something is wrong. Ethan, his voice was thin, not tired, not slow, thin. That was new. Dad, what's going on? I didn't want to bother you, he said. There it was. 79 years old, still apologizing for needing help. My chest feels tight, and my arm, it's doing something strange. I was already moving. I'm coming. Don't move. Sit down and unlock the door. I hung up before he could protest. 3 seconds. That's all I gave myself to think. My car? In the shop. Transmission shot. Okay. Next option. Ryan's car. A black Toyota parked in the driveway. Clean. Full tank. Ready. Ryan, my son, was at work, which meant the only person upstairs was Lena, his fiancée. I could hear the shower running. I stepped to the bottom of the stairs. Lena! The water kept running. Lena! The water shut off. A pause. Then, what? She called back. Not concern. Not urgency. Just irritation. I need the car. My dad's having chest pain. I need to take him to the hospital. Silence. Then footsteps. She appeared at the top of the stairs, wrapped in a robe, towel in her hair, completely composed. I can't today, she said. I blinked. You what? I have a meeting, and I already have plans later. My father's arm is going numb. I said, slower this time, like maybe she didn't understand the words. She crossed her arms. Call an ambulance. He hates ambulances. You know that. Last time. Then call someone else. She cut in, just like that. No hesitation. No second thought. Just inconvenience. He's your father, she added, turning halfway back toward the bedroom. Then she said the sentence I will never forget as long as I live. Not my responsibility. The door closed behind her. Softly. That was the worst part. No anger. No guilt. Just a decision. I stood there for exactly 1 second longer than I should have. Then I pulled out my phone. Marcus lived 3 houses down. 72. Retired mechanic. Drove a beat-up sedan that sounded like it had stories to tell. He picked up on the first ring. Ethan, I need help. That's all I said. My dad's having chest pain. I don't have a car. Can you take us to St. Mary's? Give me 3 minutes. No questions. No conditions. 3 minutes. That's what showing up looks like. I call my father back. I'm on my way. Stay seated. Door unlocked. A small pause. Unlocked, he said. And Ethan, yeah, you didn't have to rush. I closed my eyes for half a second. Yeah, I said quietly. I did. Marcus pulled up in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. We didn't waste time. The drive felt shorter than it was. My father sat in the back seat, trying to make small talk like this was just another errand. I'm sorry, Marcus, he said. Didn't mean to drag you into this. Marcus waved it off. Wasn't doing anything important. I stared out the window, because if I didn't, I might have said something I couldn't take back. At the hospital, everything moved fast. Nurses, machines, questions, a doctor with calm eyes and steady hands. Mr. Hayes, we're going to run a few tests, just to be safe. I sat in the waiting room for nearly 3 hours. plastic chair, bad coffee, worse thoughts. Lena didn't call, didn't text, not once. At 11:08, the doctor came out. He had a mild cardiac event, he said. Not a full heart attack, but it's a warning. Stable. That word hit harder than anything else. Stable meant I hadn't lost him. Not today. When I finally saw him, he smiled. Actually smiled. You came, he said, like there had been doubt. That nearly broke me. I'll always come, I said, and I meant it, because that's what he'd done for me my entire life. Later, sitting there while he rested, something settled inside me. Not anger, not yet. Something quieter, colder, clarity, because back at that house, someone had made a choice. And choices, they don't disappear. They wait, and sooner or later, they come back. Thursday, 6:52 a.m. I woke up before the alarm. That's how you know something hasn't let go of you yet. The house was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that doesn't feel peaceful. It feels like something is waiting. I lay there for a moment, staring at the ceiling, replaying yesterday in slow motion. Every word, every pause. Not my responsibility. Funny how a single sentence can rearrange everything you thought you understood about a person. I got up, went downstairs, and made coffee. Loudly, not out of habit, out of intention. The machine rattled, hissed, announced itself to the entire house. And for the first time, I didn't care who it woke up. Some things lose their importance overnight. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at my phone. No missed calls. No messages from Lena. Nothing. At 7:03, I thought about my father sitting in that hospital bed, the way his voice had changed when he said, "You came," like it wasn't guaranteed, like love had conditions. That thought sat heavy, because for him it never had. I was halfway through my second cup when I heard footsteps. Lena walked in like it was any other morning, hair tied back, phone in hand, already scrolling. She glanced at me, then at the coffee machine. "You're up early." Every morning for 20 years, I almost said. Instead, I nodded. "How's your dad?" she asked. Not your father. Not Mr. Hayes. Just your dad. Like she was asking about the weather. "Stable," I said. "Mild cardiac event. They're keeping him for observation." She nodded slowly, like she was processing a schedule change. "That's good." A pause. The kind where something real should be said. It wasn't. "I had a really long day yesterday," she added. "Things were complicated." I let that word sit between us. Complicated. "My father's heart was failing," I said calmly. "And you were at dinner." She shifted slightly. "It wasn't like that." "It was exactly like that." Her jaw tightened. "I told you to call an ambulance. And I told you he hates them." "Well, Ethan, I can't drop everything every time there's a situation." There it was. Not couldn't. Wouldn't. I stood up slowly. Not angry. Not loud. Just done with the conversation. "I'm not doing this right now," I said. "I'm trying to explain." "I heard you yesterday." I interrupted, loud and clear. I grabbed my keys. "Where you going?" she asked. "To see my father." I didn't wait for a response, because some conversations don't deserve more words. Marcus didn't ask questions when he picked me up again. Didn't offer advice. Didn't try to fix anything. He just showed up. That's a rare thing. We drove in silence, old radio humming softly in the background. The kind of silence that doesn't feel empty. It feels understood. When we reached the hospital, he glanced at me and said one thing. "Pay attention to who shows up, Ethan." I nodded, because I already was. My father looked better. Color back in his face. Glasses on. A crossword puzzle resting on his lap like nothing had happened. 6 letters. He said the moment I walked in, "Regret." I paused in the doorway. He looked up, a small smile forming. "For the puzzle," he added. I let out a short laugh. "Sorry," I said. "Doesn't fit." He chuckled. "No, it doesn't." I sat down beside him. For a while, we didn't say much. We didn't need to. That's what real relationships look like. No performance. No pressure. Just presence. Then he closed the puzzle book. And I knew Something important was coming. "I want to call Mr. Carter," he said. I frowned slightly. David Carter, family attorney, handled everything after my mother passed. Precise, quiet, the kind of man who didn't waste words. "Okay," I said carefully. "Why?" My father looked at me, really looked at me. "I've been thinking," he said. That sentence carried weight. He didn't think out loud. He thought, and then he decided. "You don't have to do anything right now," I said. "Ethan." That was it. Just my name. But the way he said it. Firm. Final. I stopped talking. "I've worked my whole life," he continued. "Everything your mother and I built. It was meant to go somewhere that mattered." A pause. To people who show up. I didn't speak, because I already knew where this was going. "She didn't show up," he said. "Not angry, not emotional, just factual. And not just yesterday." He started listing things. Moments I had buried. Moments I had excused. "She missed your mother's memorial. Didn't visit when I had surgery. Left early last Christmas when I was sick." Each one landed heavier than the last, because they were true. All of them. "I'm not upset," he said calmly. And he wasn't. That was the part that made it final. "I'm just clear." Clarity is dangerous, because once you see something clearly, you can't unsee it. He reached for his phone. A small folded paper slipped from the back of the case. A number, already written, already prepared. This hadn't started yesterday. This had been building for years. "Do you want me to step outside?" I asked. He thought for a moment, then shook his head. "Stay." One word, and I stayed. He dialed. "David, it's Daniel Hayes." A pause. "Yes, I'm at the hospital. Nothing urgent, but important." His voice was steady, controlled. "I'd like to make some changes. To my will." Silence on the other end. Then, "I can be there this afternoon." "Good," my father said. "Let's not delay things that matter." He ended the call, set the phone down, picked up his crossword again, like nothing had just shifted, like he hadn't just redrawn the future. I sat there, trying to process it. "You don't have to do this for me," I said quietly. He didn't look up. "I'm not doing for you." A pen moved across the page. "I'm doing it because I've earned the right to decide." Then he glanced up, and I've decided. That was it. No drama, no speeches, just a decision. And somehow, that made it even more powerful, because the loudest choices are often the ones made in silence. Mr. Carter arrived at 1:57 p.m. Not early, not late, exactly on time. That told you everything about the kind of man he was. Dark suit, leather briefcase, calm eyes that missed nothing. He shook my hand once, firm, respectful, then turned to my father. "Daniel," he said, "good to see you under the circumstances." My father nodded slightly. "Let's get to work." No small talk, no wasted time. I moved to the corner of the room, giving them space, but not leaving, because my father had asked me to stay, and that meant something. The conversation lasted just under an hour, 48 minutes, to be exact. I didn't catch every word. Some things were spoken quietly. Some things weren't meant to be shared, but I didn't need every detail to understand what was happening. I could feel it, like the air in the room had shifted, like something permanent was being carved into place. Mr. Carter wrote carefully, occasionally asked a question, clarified details. My father answered without hesitation. No second guessing. No doubt. This wasn't a man reacting to a bad day. This was a man finalizing a long-held truth. At one point, Mr. Carter glanced in my direction. "Are you aware of these changes?" he asked. I met his eyes. "No," I said honestly. My father didn't look at me, but I saw the smallest hint of a smile. "That's fine," he said. "He will be..." And that was enough for the conversation to continue. When it was over, Mr. Carter closed his folder slowly. Everything about him was deliberate. "Daniel," he said, "I'll have the final document prepared and ready for signature tomorrow." My father nodded. "Good." Mr. Carter stood, then turned to me again. "You have a remarkable father," he said quietly. I looked over at the hospital bed. At the man who had never asked for recognition, never demanded anything, just showed up. Yeah, I said, I know. After he left, the room felt different, lighter, clearer, like something unresolved had finally been settled. My father picked up his crossword again, like he hadn't just changed the direction of everything. I sat there, trying to find the right words. There weren't any. Dad, I started. He didn't look up. Ethan, he said, go get yourself something to eat. You've been sitting here all day. I almost laughed. Even now, even here, he was still taking care of me. I'm fine, I said. He circled something on the puzzle. No, you're not, but you will be. That stopped me, because he wasn't talking about food. I left the hospital at 4:35 p.m. Marcus was waiting, just like before. Didn't ask what happened. Didn't push. Just looked at me long enough to make sure I was still standing. Everything all right? He asked. I got into the car, closed the door, took a breath. Yeah, I said quietly. Everything's exactly how it's supposed to be. He nodded once. That was enough. The drive home felt different. Not lighter, but clearer, like fog had lifted. When we pulled into the driveway, I noticed Lena's car was gone. Out! Of course. I went inside. The house felt unchanged, which somehow made everything feel more different. Her shoes by the door, her mug in the sink, her presence everywhere. But something about it no longer felt permanent. I sat at the kitchen table, the same place as that morning. Only now, I wasn't confused. I wasn't trying to understand. I already did, and that's when my phone buzzed. Lena, I stared at the screen. Let it ring once, twice, 3 times. Then I answered. Hey, she said. I called earlier. I saw. A pause. I've been thinking, she began, about yesterday. I didn't respond. I think things got misunderstood. There was again, not accountability, reframing. My father was in the hospital. I said calmly, there's not much to misunderstand. She exhaled. Ethan, I have a lot going on too. I closed my eyes briefly, because that sentence, that exact sentence, that's when something finally clicked all the way into place. Yeah, I said quietly. I know. Another pause. Are you coming home tonight? She asked. I am home. Silence. Then, oh, I'll talk to you when you get back, I said, and I hung up, not out of anger, not out of spite, but because for the first time, I didn't feel the need to keep the conversation going. Friday, 8:11 a.m. I was standing at the auto shop, signing the final paperwork for my car. New transmission. Fresh start. Funny how life lines things up like that. The mechanic handed me the keys. Should run like new, he said. I nodded. Thanks. As I stepped outside, the cold air hit my face. Sharp, honest. My phone buzzed in my hand. Lena, I looked at it. This time, I answered immediately. Ethan, she said, her voice tighter than usual. We need to talk. I'm listening. I just got off the phone with Ryan. My grip on the phone tightened slightly. My father's lawyer called him, she continued. Something about documents? Changes. There it was, right on time. I'm at the hospital, I said. If you have questions, you can come here. A pause. I'm on my way. She arrived 23 minutes later. Fast. Faster than I'd ever seen her move for anything related to my family. Interesting how urgency works when it finally matters to you. She walked into the hospital room like she belonged there, like nothing had happened, like yesterday didn't exist. Daniel, she said, her tone carefully polite, I heard you weren't feeling well. My father looked up from his crossword, calm, unbothered. I'm better, he said. She smiled slightly. I'm glad to hear that. Then she looked at me, then back at him. I also heard there were some changes being made. There it was. Not concern. Not apology. Business. My father closed the crossword slowly, placed it on the table beside him. Then he looked at her. Really looked at her. Not angry. Not cold. Just clear. Yes, he said. There were. She stepped a little closer. I just think it would have been respectful to include the family in those decisions. Family. That word hung in the air. My father tilted his head slightly. Family shows up, he said. Simple, direct, final. Her expression shifted, just slightly. I had prior commitments, she replied carefully. I couldn't have known it was that serious. You knew enough, he said. Silence. Heavy this time. Unavoidable. I think there's been a misunderstanding, she started again. No, my father interrupted gently. That word landed harder than anything louder could have. There hasn't. He leaned back slightly against the pillow. I've had a lot of time to think. Not just yesterday. Not just this week. His voice stayed steady. I've watched patterns. Over years. Lena didn't speak, because there was nothing to say. I'm not upset, he continued. And I'm not punishing anyone. Another pause. I'm just making sure what your mother and I built goes where it's valued. That was it. No raised voice. No accusations. Just truth. And truth doesn't need decoration. Lena's composure cracked for a half-second. Just enough. So that's it? She asked. After everything? My father looked at her, then at me, then back at her. Yes, he said quietly. That's it. No explosion. No dramatic exit. She stood there for a moment longer, then nodded once, turned, and walked out. The door closed, and the room went quiet again. But this time, it felt different. Not tense, not heavy, just resolved. My father picked up his crossword, like always, like nothing had happened, but everything had. I sat there, watching him for a moment. You okay? I asked. He filled in a word. Always was, he said. Then he glanced at me. You. I took a breath, thought about everything. Yesterday, this week, the years before it. Yeah, I said slowly. I think I am now. Because sometimes it takes a single moment, a single decision, to show you exactly who people are. And once you see it clearly, you don't argue, you don't chase, you don't explain, you just decide.